Φίλοι μας, βρισκόμαστε στο νεκροταφείο Pine Hills, στην πόλη του Τορόντο φυσικά. Τελευταία η παροικία μας έχει ξεσηκωθεί για μια ενέργεια των κημητηρίων της Mount Pleasant Cemeteries με το να αποσύρουν από τους χώρους των νεκρών μας τα διάφορα αντικείμενα τα οποία μαζεύτηκαν βάναυσα και κατά τη γνώμη μας πολύ άγαρμα, χωρίς σεβασμό στη θρησκεία μας. Γι' αυτό είμαστε εδώ. Θα μιλήσουμε με τη διευθύντρια του marketing των κημητηρίων, the director of marketing, Miss Abigale Brown, και είμαστε εδώ στο Pine Hill. Abigale, thank you very much for accepting GrecaTV's invitation to have this conversation today to a topic that has brought the Greek community, the Greek Orthodox community of the GTA up in arms. So thank you very much for accepting to speak to me.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak as well.
I'm just going to show this, which you have seen. Of course, this is the scene after the collection of the different items by the tombstones that the Greek Orthodox community found it to be very offensive. And as you know, Abigale, funeral rites change from each group, religious or cultural group, and also it changes over historical periods. But certainly this funeral rites are very conducive in terms of respecting the dead, and it gives some real comfort to the living ones, the relatives, you know, of the deceased, to have some type of communication and comfort with their loved ones that they departed. So I hope, I'm sure you understand this is a very, very important issue for every religious group, but for the Greek community, the Greek Orthodox community, I can assure you, it's an extremely important issue because the Greek Orthodox Christianity at the roots, it started at the beginning of Christianity, and we follow these rites. They have a special meaning, and the different rites that we institute by the grave and during, you know, all phases of the funeral process to communicate and comfort the souls of the dead. And that's why we have flowers, we have koliva, the wheat or the bread or the olive oil, or that goes back to a great tradition of Orthodoxy. And even beyond that, in classical Greece, we had similar things. You know, they were buried with their items as they lived. The Egyptians, which is a very old culture as well, they had these rituals. They buried the dead. If they were warriors, we see in kings or military leaders' tombs with their shield, with their sword, with food. So it's a very, very great tradition that goes back to antiquity and of course to Christianity. Why you have to do this?
So I want to say first off, Bill, we completely understand the concern. We've been hearing from community members. We've been speaking to them all week. We've been meeting with leaders of the Greek Orthodox community in Toronto and a number of associations. We understand from what we are hearing that the items that we have removed from the grave sites hold deep significance and meaning and religious meaning and significance for our clients and the families that have been impacted by the articles removal program. The reason why, the intent behind the articles removal program, which we have since paused, in light of the community feedback that we've received.
Can I interrupt you to be fair to you more?
Yes.
I'm going to read for the benefit of our viewers your statement that you issued.
Absolutely.
The official statement on the 27th of August. To our clients, families, communities, and all those who visit our cemeteries, we want to begin by expressing our heartfelt apology for the pain, distress, and frustration caused by our recent removal of articles at grave sites. We acknowledge that our actions, though rooted in safety concerns, have hurt many families and disrupted moments of remembrances and reflection. Over the past 6 months, we worked to communicate changes to our cemetery bylaws, which were approved by the Bereavement Authority of Ontario. These changes are intended to protect the health and safety of all who visit our cemeteries, including family members, staff, and volunteers. However, we acknowledge that our messages did not reach everyone, and we could have done better, particularly in communicating with faith-based and culturally diverse communities, including members of the Greek and Greek Orthodox communities. We are pausing the articles removal program while we take the time to listen, learn, and understand community concerns. Our goal is to balance the need for safety and compliance with the deep respect for the traditions, beliefs, and grief journeys of the families we serve. We're also reviewing our operating bylaws in light of these concerns and will work with families to restore meaningful items, including the holy houses that were removed from grave sites beginning tomorrow. That was the 18th of August. Additionally, we are exploring better options for storing items currently placed in bags within the contained area to ensure they are preserved with dignity and care. And hopefully we'll have an opportunity to film that place of storage as well a little later. So let me ask you, about 6 months ago, you instituted this, what I understand is not a government order bylaw, but it's an in-house type of bylaw or policy.
No.
How did that come about?
It is our operating bylaws, which we are regulated by the Bereavement Authority of Ontario.
Oh no, I understand that, but you instituted this policy and turned it into a bylaw which the Bereavement Authority approved.
We had to follow a process to get it approved. And we, 6 months ago, we gave notice to families that we were going to enforce this bylaw, motivated centrally by safety. The articles...
What is the safety issue? In other words, tell me how many incidents of safety you had as a result of this.
Let me explain. And sometimes it's not just about a multitude of incidents, Bill. It's also about prevention. We have an obligation as a cemetery.
So was this mainly prevention or actual statistics that show there are fires or other...
If I may finish.
Yes, of course.
There have been incidents in the past, and it's also about prevention. We've had also extreme weather incidents on a number of our properties, windstorms, for example, that have taken down trees. The articles that we were removing were primarily meant to focus on breakable glass, items containing breakable glass, or items that can become projectiles during a windstorm. So imagine someone, a family member, coming to visit a grave site and being injured. And so we have an obligation, as much as we want people to come and to reflect and remember, we also have to keep the cemetery safe. However, we recognize absolutely, Bill, that despite the 6 months of notice that we provided via signage and emails, not everybody received the message. The message could have been better. We could have done that better.
Aside from that, the issue of prior warning.
And that's why we've paused it.
My problem, and which derives from many calls to us, is that prior to instituting this bylaw, you never consulted the community or any religious group to say, look, this is our concern, the winds, this and that, whatever you described. Why don't we together decide how can we face this issue with safety?
And that is the painful lesson learned. That's why we paused the program. We have We're listening to the community, we're responding to them, we're taking immediate action, and we've begun to meet and held more of those meetings with the Greek religious leaders, Greek Orthodox community, and also community associations. We're saying absolutely, as you heard in our statement, that that we didn't proceed in the best way.
So you do understand that you failed in terms of consulting prior to implementing this. You do understand that it was a major mistake on your part,
we
not only in terms of marketing.
Improvements that can be made. Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
Because this cemetery where we are, as you know, Pine Hill and Elgin Mills, are accommodating the dead of the Greek community in big numbers.
For sure. And we've also heard, Bill, I need to let you know that for the majority, and we don't diminish any of the comments and the feedback, we take seriously every single bit of feedback we have received. We have also heard from members of this community that they appreciate the effort, they appreciate the support. We have had some write directly to us and say, we understand what you're doing. We appreciate the support, we understand it. However, we are here to listen, we are here to respond. That's what any organization should do. And there was no question that this community deserved an apology, and we are ready to make amends and to repair the damage that has been done, and it's already begun.
Okay, so far the interpretation by many in the Greek Orthodox community of Toronto is that the apology and everything you say and do now, it's merely doing damage control tactics, and the substance is not out there yet. And that's my next question. You're saying that soon you'll be reviewing the operating bylaw.
It's happening now.
It is happening now. Are you having on the same table the head or the representative of the Greek Orthodox community of Toronto or the other communities? Because I've seen Chinese Oriental people, protesting. I saw them in social media everywhere.
So
it's not only it's not only the Greek community, but predominantly it's ours.
So the actions have begun, Bill.
Yes.
The actions have begun.
So they're sitting on the decision-making process in the reviewing of this bylaw.
We've begun to have meetings.
Okay.
And so, Bill, this is not going to happen in 24 hours.
Of course.
I'm sure you can appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So these meetings, we've started immediately, and we're going to walk forward together with these leaders, with people that we're hearing from, and we're going to do better. And it's already begun.
Well, I'm sure the Greek community will appreciate these efforts. They're more meaningful, they're substantive, and hopefully the end result is going to be satisfactory to both sides, because really we're your clients, right? All of us are clients of the cemetery people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we have an obligation to all of our clients to create, to have space where their beliefs, their traditions, their customs are honored, are respected, where they're treated with dignity, and where they also know that they can come and be safe. And so the challenge before us as an organization is to listen to what this community is saying, to take seriously what we've heard, and we do, which is why we've paused the program, and it's why we're reviewing our bylaws and that we're making changes, and to ensure that going forward, our cemeteries remain safe places, but that are culturally sensitive, that are empathetic to the traditions and the customs of the people we serve.
I'm glad this is happening, and I know our community will appreciate the new efforts, because it's to the benefit of all.
Yeah, it's important.
I want to thank you for this brief interview.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Abigale, tell us where we are and what we're seeing here.
So we're in the contained area where when we began the articles removal program, before we paused it, as we have now, to respond to community concerns. This is where we were placing items so that family members could come and retrieve their items. These items are since the holy houses houses it started already. You can't tell from looking, but the glass houses are going to be returned to the grave sites. That's one of the things that we're doing in response to the community concerns, and we've started that right away. But families are still coming in and retrieving their items, and we talk to them and explain what's happening and what the intention is. But you can see here what we mean is items containing glass, and I don't want to identify any of the names or tags for privacy reasons, but if there's a windstorm, if there's an extreme weather event, what we don't want is for broken glass or even a rock that could get caught in a trimmer that a property maintenance person is using. We don't want that to become a projectile and injure someone, and we have had that happen in the past, as I said.
So these people have been notified to come and collect these items?
Yes, and sometimes staff members will meet with them. We don't have anyone coming in right now, but throughout the week, people who have received the message have been coming in. We've been talking with them, helping them to find their items. But as I say, we're returning the holy houses to the grave sites, and we're going to be looking at different storage options that are more dignifying and more respectful for families to come and get their items. We're going to clear this out.
Sure, for safety reasons, as you see these holy houses or candle holders, they're sold in the commercial market. That's how we buy them. Now, you as a huge corporation, I understand you run, I don't know, over 40 cemeteries throughout Ontario or more. I don't know, but I know it's a huge number that you own as Mount Pleasant Corporation. But perhaps you have the corporate power to be in touch with those that make these things. Maybe they shouldn't be from glass. Maybe it should be something else.
I think that's a fair question and consideration. What we've heard actually from the community this week, from people within the Greek community, is that sometimes families actually choose to buy from someone who makes them. And what we've heard, and I have no way of proving this, I'm just echoing what I've heard back from the community, is that some of them are handmade by a supplier in the Greek community. Again, that's what we've heard, and so I think that's a fair consideration, but we can't always control.
No, I understand, but you can still control the quality of what is allowed to be placed as a holy house there. You can control that, so it's incumbent to each of us to make sure we buy something that is conforming with the requirements, safety requirements.
I think we can't necessarily police and control what people buy, but I think within the bylaws and working directly we can work within the bylaws and work directly with families, as we're doing, to talk about what is considered breakable as an item. And what is safe. I mean, another part of this too is not every item is unsafe. It's not every item, and so we just have to work much more closely with families, I think, in a different way than we have before, so that they understand what is breakable, what is a projectile, what is a safety hazard.
But you have removed, as I understand, even flowers. How that can be a safety issue?
To my understanding, I don't know that we've removed flowers in and of themselves. It may have been what they are contained in. Again, we're focused on communicating with family members and really determining what is considered a projectile, a safety hazard that could harm someone in an extreme weather event or during the process of routine maintenance, because we do have to maintain grave sites. That is part of our obligation to our clients as well, is to maintain and take care of grave sites forever, in perpetuity. And so we use tools, trimmers, and so we don't want those items to become projectiles and harm someone.
Hey, thank you very much.
Welcome. You're welcome.